Coming up on Cedar Valley Today, Cyber Overload. We take a look at the apps that are taking over college campuses.
And Wartburg probs, why the Twitter account was shut down.
And the psych of swipe. We take a look at the impact of social media on our brains. This is Cedar Valley Today.
I mean, I know in the beginning it started small, but it's kind of gotten into once you hear, something's on Night Snap, something's on Wartburg Confessions, even if you don't follow it or don't like it, all of a sudden there's people, everyone's going to see it because they want to know what it is.
Hello, and welcome to Cedar Valley Today. I'm Melissa Kozak.
And I'm Ashley Davis. Cedar Valley Today will be taking an inside look at the world of posts, tweets, and social media apps in a special segment called Generation Swipe.
With the number of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat users growing every day, it's easier to see the positive and negative impacts. From 2008 to 2012, bullying has increased by 66%. That's according to the National Prevention of Cruelty to Children. And many people think social media is to blame. Cedar Valley Today's Brady Van Sickle takes a look at major contributors to cyberbullying and harassment.
Over the last couple of years, numerous social sites have popped up that allow students to make posts under the cover of anonymity. Pages like College Confessions, Yik Yak, and varying college snap pages allow students to post explicit content about themselves or other students without it being linked back to them. While the original intent of such pages were for entertainment, they have grown to be more offensive and slanderous. Yik Yak was started in 2013, and by May of this year, its creators Brooks Buffington and Tyler Droll reported that the app had already over 240,000 users. College Confessions joined Twitter in 2012, and they already have over 504,000 followers. Snapchat was created in 2011, and according to the Business Insider, it has reached over 70 million active users. With the rise in Snapchat's popularity, it has also seen a rise in people screenshotting photos and posting them to social outlets. Reporting for Cedar Valley Today, I'm Brady Van Sickle.
Students on many college campuses are fed up and calling for the removal of confession pages and similar networking sites. Joining us now is Amara Tyne, the opinion editorial editor for the Wartburg Trumpet. Amara recently published an article which spoke out against a Wartburg Confessions-based page. Amara, thanks for joining us. I first want to read your article, a piece from your article in the op-ed section. So you wrote, "To do all this under the Wartburg name is a huge insult to the college and all its past, present, and future students. This is not the integrity and behavior we promote on this campus." So with that, my first question I have for you is, you were the first person to publicly take a stand with this article, and it appears you accomplished your goal because the Wartburg Confessions Twitter page was taken down on Wednesday. I'm just curious, what was the turning point for you?
The turning point for me was realizing that the Confessions page was still up and running actively. I remember hearing about it a couple years ago when it first started and being totally appalled and not wanting to have anything to do with it. But this year, being a part of the Trumpet staff, I realized that I was in a position that I could be heard a little bit louder than other small Twitter accounts, you know what I mean? So I felt that with an editorial piece, it could reach a larger audience and really make a larger statement.
Okay, and since the article was published, have you received any responses?
Yes, I've received so many responses. There's been a lot of students on campus who have just come up to me and said, "Thank you for speaking out about this. I'm so glad the Twitter page is being abdicated to take down." And I've also gotten a lot of personal responses, it takes a lot of guts to say something like this publicly, you should be really proud of what you're doing and the movement you're starting and not excitement, that's the wrong word, but the encouragement that you're giving other students to speak out as well.
Thank you so much for being here, Amara. And coming up on Cedar Valley Today, who are the people behind the Confessions pages? Meet one Wartburg student who said enough is enough, and how she helped a first-year student who was being harassed and called out her attackers.
Many Wartburg students have been targeted by online harassment, and until this week, little has been done to stop it. According to Pew Internet Research, 95% of social media using teens report being bystanders. Wartburg student Kelsey Bemis joins us now and is part of a small group of seniors who decided to take a stand. So Kelsey, how was it being one of the few students to speak out about Wartburg Confessions?
I don't know. I guess it was just my opinion, and I wanted to get that out there. So,
Okay. And when did you reach that breaking point?
last Wednesday, I was at my internship, and I apologize to my internship because I wasn't very productive. But I was looking at the tweets on there, and I guess I went to the Ask page for some reason and saw that one of the tweets had been asked to take down, and the users or the page owner responded with, "It's not the messenger's fault. Don't do things if you don't want people to know." And that's what kind of made me mad, I guess, is if someone's asking you to take them down. And they nicely asked and said she's worried it'll ruin future careers. Will you please take this down? And that's kind of what really, I guess, got to me. So.
Were you targeted by these sites, or?
I wasn't, no. I was never targeted, and my close group of friends never was. I maybe knew people on the page, but it wasn't anything like that, no.
Okay. And why did you reach out to these, and how did you help them individually?
There was one person who I saw had been on the page, and I just reached out to him and said, I'm sorry this is happening to you. It was someone I'd never met before, and it was a freshman, and I said, I'm sorry that this is happening to you in your first month being at Wartburg, because that's not what Wartburg is about at all. And I guess I was just upset that I would hate for that to be their first impression of Wartburg, and just reached out to him, and it ended up talked to him all day, and they're a great person, and I was told them that they were a big reason why I wanted to kind of make something happen with the page, I guess.
Okay. And now that the Wartburg College Confessions page is down, do you plan on taking this to the national level?
I don't know about that. I guess like the college confession pages and college confessions on Twitter, those pages aren't specifically targeting people. It's more people posting their own confessions. So while I don't agree with the things people say on there, the things people do on there, I don't view it as harassment necessarily. I know there's been one Wartburg confession on one of them that featured a last name, so I guess I wouldn't approve with that, but it's hard to say, well, this is okay and this isn't. But generally those pages aren't necessarily targeting anyone, so it's just a lot of people trying to kind of brag, I guess.
Okay, and do you have any advice for anyone who is being harassed on these social media?
Well, I know one thing you can do is you can reach out to the Knights for Equality campaign, which is through Alliance. It's a great group of people, even if you're not an LGBTQA individual. They're always there willing to be kind of a support system. I know that's one thing, or we have a lot of great professors and staff that you could reach out to as well, and a lot that aren't going to tolerate something like that. So.
Good. A popular Twitter page for Wartburg students was Wartburg Problems. The page was shut down earlier this week, and we have a statement from the creator as of why. The Wartburg Probs Twitter account was meant to be a lighthearted way to empathize with fellow students about the little things that were annoying on campus. However, I realize that any type of complaining is a form of negativity, which is detrimental to the culture on campus. I am proud to be a Knight and want to focus on the positives of Wartburg, so I felt it was appropriate to take the account down. How do you feel about that statement from the creator?
I think it's an awesome stance. I guess looking through the Wartburg Problems, I'd never found anything that was particularly inappropriate, but I think it's a great, timely way to kind of say that, we're not going to tolerate these anonymous things on Twitter anymore. And I thought that the creator handled it well and picked a very good time to kind of make that statement.
Okay, and what is the next step going about this?
I don't know. There's been a lot of great steps so far. First, the page getting taken down, a lot of students just representing this, equality. The soccer team's video, the Knights for Equality teaming up with our rival school, which is, it's awesome. So clearly things are happening. So I guess just kind of continuing to spread that message of, I know personally it feels a lot better to reach out to someone and help them than it does to bash on them anonymously or not anonymously. So I think just hopefully can move forward that way.
Great. Well, thank you so much for reaching out, Kelsey, and joining me today about it. And remember, you can join the fight for equality by using the Knights for Equality hashtag at the bottom of your screen. And joining us now is Cedar Valley Today reporter Kaylin Thompson to take a look at the psychology behind anonymous social networking.
Thanks, Alyssa. Colleges and universities nationwide are changing the social media world with anonymous social networks and confession pages. Some may wonder, how do these pages remain anonymous? The answer is simple. People send in their comments and confessions to the page administrators, who have complete control about what can and cannot be seen.
You can't help but jump to your phone whenever you hear it go off. A mentioned tweet on Twitter, a liked picture on Instagram, or even a snapped back reply on Snapchat. People crave the feeling of being wanted, being noticed, and being replied to. But why do they turn to something so impersonal as social networks to satisfy those needs and desires?
If you're checking how many likes you have to a posting or to a picture that you've put on, and if that's, I think people automatically, that helps them to feel good.
But what happens when one of the notifications you received wasn't another like or a new follower? What if it was an anonymous post about you? Anonymous social networks, such as Yik Yak and confession pages on Twitter and Facebook, have been buzzing around small private colleges and large state universities alike. Wartburg College is no stranger to this trend. Night Snaps on Facebook has 1,072 people who have liked the page. Wartburg Confessions on Twitter had over 750 followers before the account was deactivated earlier this week.
People hide behind anonymity, and so that's an easy thing to do. And I don't know that people, if their identity were revealed, would they say those things? No, which I think is not fair.
Newsom says social networks are like highlight reels. People only post what they want other people to see. But unfortunately, people don't get to choose what goes on these anonymous pages.
You don't have any control over these kinds of sites, what people put out there, especially if it's about you.
When it comes to control, some students are finding that moments considered private could easily become public. One person's biggest secret or embarrassing night out is another person's guilty pleasure or entertainment.
But the biggest thing is to remember that, what you're sending out there, even though it feels impersonal, when you're doing it, because it's going to another device or out in cyberspace, but it's about a person.
Why do you think people are participating in these college confessions pages?
Well, Alyssa, there's just simply a loss of empathy. People aren't thinking about it when they're pushing the send button.
Okay. Well, thank you, Kaylin. Coming up on Cedar Valley Today, what happens when your private snaps are screenshotted? Stay with us.
With over 1,000 likes on Facebook, Night Snaps is one of the most popular social media pages for Wartburg students.
The page features submitted Snapchat photos, some funny, others of more personal nature.
But what happens when you become the talk of campus and the photo wasn't even of you? Second-year Alex Williamson knows the feeling and was mistakenly identified in a Night Snaps photo.
There was a Night Snap that came out, and there was a girl who had similar hair color and facial structure to me, snapped in a picture that I'm sure she didn't know was happening. And due to our similarities in facial structure, people kind of began to assume that it was me, and I had multiple people asking me about, oh, what were you doing? Who are these people? And I had no idea, and I sat there and I'm like, well, someone else's actions are getting pinned on me, and I have no clue who this person even is. People will be taking these pictures, and you can be out in public, or you can be in your dorm room, or just across the Mensa, and you don't know, and then these pictures end up on the internet of you, and you're like, oh, great. Now I get to deal with removing this, and once you put something on the internet, you may delete it, but it's never actually really gone.
So Alex, what was your biggest fear after this picture was posted and accusations were being made that it was you?
Definitely that it was going to come back to me later in life. Definitely searching in the job market, that if somehow my name got attached to this photo, that it was going to follow me when I had nothing to do with it in the first place.
Okay, and did you feel powerless, or did you take action right away?
I mean, definitely when anyone asked me about it, I corrected them pretty quickly that no, this definitely was not me, but it was kind of shocking to figure out that people would think this was me.
And how do you think someone could prevent this from happening in the past, or do you think it's even preventable?
I don't know if it would be preventable, but definitely when you're thinking to take a Snapchat of that nature, send it to people that you trust to not screenshot it and put it on the internet. Would be a good idea.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Alex.
Definitely.
And don't forget to take a stand by using the hashtag on the bottom of your screen, hashtag Knights for Equality. And we wanted to find out what other students had to say about the Wartburg Confessions and night stabs.
Here's what some students had to say.
I think it's really disrespectful and it's just basically harassment.
I think that people can take it for what it's worth. Obviously, in every situation, people are going to have opinions about things that are different and want to debate it, but it's just what you make it.
I feel that they're rather an immature approach to kind of drawing attention to certain people and are an unnecessary distraction.
I would want it removed right away. It would make me feel really violated.
I would not want a future employer or grad school looking at it.
We're adults here. This is a college campus. It's not an elementary school.
Coming up on Cedar Valley Today, a look at the newest anonymous college confessions app that has a large following at Wartburg, and what some Wartburg athletes have to say about falling into the spotlight.
Yik Yak, it's a new free social networking app that lets users post anything and everything anonymously through Twitter-like comments. This app is making waves on campuses nationwide and right here on Wartburg's campus. With users on more than 250 college campuses, the app has already been banned. Users can only see posts sent within a 5-mile radius without any form of identification. Users' posts are funny or serious, and some of them are just derogatory. Now, at Wartburg College, the athletic program seemed to get the most attention on these apps and pages. Today, we sit down with Drew Coy, the captain of the football team, and Katie Wyman, a captain on the softball team, to shed some light on this topic. Thanks for being here, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, Ashley.
So this, many people would consider this a problem, whether it's related to sports or not. And since you guys are both captains, you play influential roles to the student body. How do you plan to, or how does it make you feel that you have these associations being captains of sports teams?
I mean, we've talked it over as a football team, and the things going out on the internet, the things going on social media, we felt it was very disrespectful, and the fact that some of it was getting, more pushed on the athletic programs, we felt that was, hurting us, and so as students of Wartburg College, we're just trying to speak out against it and doing whatever we can to, eliminate those things from happening. So.
We talk a lot about softball about making sure that what you're doing every day is making a positive impact on your or how people see you. So if these posts are getting posted about any of our players, they put that responsibility on us and make sure that you're doing the right things so that these things aren't getting posted. We don't have much control over what gets posted about us, but we can control what we post or what we're contributing to the fire, so I guess that's what we talk about.
And specifically, what do you plan to do as a team to deal with these associations?
We simply just said don't get involved. Don't get affiliated with whatever social media website, whatever it is. We always talk about whatever you post on the social media or whatever you go out and do is going to reflect as a team as a whole, and it's also going to reflect bad upon the entire college. So we just talked with our group and just said just be smart with what you're posting and just don't post anything that's going to reflect bad upon not only our team but our schools as well. So,
yeah, we talk about the same thing. Being part of a team at a college, not only do you represent yourself every time you post something, but you represent your team and your college as a whole. So we have to make sure to not get involved with that kind of stuff too. We have talks about social media a lot, and we actually have a speaker coming in to speak to all athletes about social media and stuff like that. So it is being handled in the athletic department.
And real quick, how does it make you feel that prospective students and athletes and even alumni are seeing or possibly seeing these posts on Yik Yak and other pages?
Well, I mean, it's definitely hurts the students. I mean, it's very disrespectful to them, and like I said, disrespectful to our college, and like I said, it can affect students' career opportunities in the future. So just eliminating as much as we can of that on the internet is definitely the route to go. So.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Drew said, and I think alumni being able to see that stuff, it just that really upsets me because they should be proud of Wartburg. They shouldn't have to look back and see that kind of stuff. So I think that's the biggest thing there. It's not good to do.
Well, thank you both so
Yeah.
much for being here today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
And we did invite the Wartburg men's soccer team to be a part of this interview today. However, they respectfully declined to participate, but they did say they're handling the situation internally. We do want to bring to light how the soccer team is using social media in a positive way to address racial discrimination in athletics. The video titled Luther College and Wartburg College United was produced by the rival teams and has gone viral, receiving over 5,000 views in just 3 days. Let's take a look.
Luther College and Wartburg College
are committed to creating and maintaining
an atmosphere where all members of the community,
where all students, faculty, staff, officials, fans, and visitors
treat each other with respect and dignity.
We will not discriminate. We will not discriminate on the basis of
age, color, disability, gender, national origin, race, religion, or sexual orientation.
Our comments and actions should never include profanity, racist, sexist, or homophobic content.
We are defined by our actions towards
others, not others' actions towards us. We will play together, we will play together, work together, and live together.
Will you join us? Will you join us?
If you are being harassed or bullied online or know someone that is, don't be afraid to reach out for help. Talk to RAs, advisors, on-campus counselors, or anyone you feel comfortable opening up to.
And remember to stand up for equality by joining the Knights for Equality campaign by using the hashtag at the bottom of your screen. That's it for today. Thanks for joining us.
And have a great day, Cedar Valley.